Hi, thanks very much, Aaron, and thanks for everybody who's read. And yeah, French Leave Versions and Perversions, the translations of some French poets from Gautier in the early 19th century to Apollinaire, but not all of them existed. I made some of them up. Why not? So I mean, if I've done some translations from Portuguese, and Pessoa has all of these heteronyms. He invents other people, and I think that's a kind of interesting thing to do. Sometimes I want to write like a 19th century Parisian, and I don't see why I shouldn't. So I'm going to read. Actually, I think all the poems I'm going to read are actually sonnets. They're all kind of quite traditional 19th century sonnets, but not all of them are actually the real thing. The versions and then a perversion, a kind of echo of it. So this is Myrtle, which is a version after Gérard de Nerval, and there's a variation on it as well. I think of you, my Myrtho, sly sorceress, haloed by Basilipo's molten light. You wear a volcano for a crown, brow bright, tresses burnished like lava braiding ash. I took your proffered cup, and I looked up to catch the liquid lightning of your eye. Today I pray at Dionysus, here, Bacchus' shrine. So born again, muse suckle my soul, stays Greek. I now know why the mountain shrugs and cracks. You brushed it with your fleeting foot. It gapes to make the world. All is acrid, smoke thick, cloaked. Some Norman duke has broken all your clay gods open, and under Virgil's laurel I have seen the pale hydrangea married to the myrtle's green. And the variation on that, I was in Paris a long, long time ago when I was a student, and I was locked in the Gare du Nord waiting room, which people did often happen to them overnight if you couldn't afford a hotel room. So the salle d'attente at the Gare du Nord, and there was somebody who was saying weird things, and he kept saying, La terre bouge, elle m'inspire aucune confiance. The earth moves, it inspires me with no confidence. And I remember this and thinking about the volcano and all those kind of things that in the original poem. Druidical under oaks, ash dripping elms, weird sorceress, always volcano crowned. I looked into your blackened bowl and saw day trembling on the edge, then drank that fire. To some, your gods were shattered earthenware, mere shards, but I see your rubble everywhere, and what was cracked was what you broke. I'd always felt you close. Knew you'd snaked right through to broker emptiness on one solid ground. Earthsick, the aftershocks came long and huge. For months the day's been coughing up a pall, fire waltzing at its hem. La terre bouge, so thick and black, the village chokes. Earth moves. It inspires me with no confidence at all. I'm actually going to just pick the most kind of well-known of the French poets to read tonight. So this is after Baudelaire, poem Sen non satiata, but not satisfied. And I've called it Vin Voodoo. And again, two variations on the same poem. The first is called Vendage d'Outre-mer. It's a kind of an overseas vintage, I suppose. Odd goddess, whose skin's a smoky musk, still redolent of opium and Havana, you may be some Obi man's opus, some savannah savior's juju, or child of the bayou dusk. Forget your grand, your premier cru, your nuit for tenue, what lasts long on my tongue's your mouth, you're my full-bodied beaker of the south. You slake, yet provoke thirst better than any burgundy. I note the rich robe as you hold me with your eyes. The worm goes through the cork, I'm mesmerized to breathe the botanica's bouquet. And as I taste your voodoo, vin gris, too late time lost, my palate echoes with Santeria, head with your blanc de noir, those lives I never left. This one's called Deja Vu. I have to apologize if I don't quite manage to read the poems that are in the book. I just had cataract surgery, so one eye is a bit better than the other, and these glasses aren't working for me very well. So I will try my best, but maybe the variations are right, as it's versions and perversions. These are versions, perversions, and variations. So Deja Vu. No wine is fine enough, no drug can do the tricks you turn and do, my wine dock sea, my nest of mermaids, my girl in every port, the witchy Circe of this odyssey, who dulls all thoughts of fine Penelope. My mind's your glass, you take my stem and twirl, I'm half a world away, moly, oily swirls of sea serpents, sargasso, shipwrecked all at sea, washed up on some Callipygian Aphrodite shore, whose wily calypso I discovered to be you. Have we lived and loved in other lives? You always my stormy siren, me so drunk, rudderless, compassless, compassionless for that good, still faithful wife lost. Deja vu. The next one's also a Baudelaire poem. Baudelaire calls it correspondence, and I call it synesthesia. There's a fairly straight version and then a kind of variation on it. One. So you say nature's a living temple, whose columns ride to let a muddled phrase break free. Weirdwood. I can see we'll watch from every tree, walls on the bough mouth out to us, the solemn silence writes script to bark, and in the distance wavelength goes indigo, as vast as night, runs clear as ice melt, pours out its solace in light. Wherever you look, it's all utterance, or could be. A fragrance resonates with spring, think fresh showers, wildflower meadows, others on stop of dusk, rich and dark. They linger heavy as flesh, which knows velvet and amber, Benjamin and musk. You go beyond the quiddity of things, taste the jazzy keys of color, hear perfumes, sing. And the other version, variation on this. Sometimes the world seems a living temple. You move through side chapels, beady-eyed by wise and symbolic birds. Their calls echo in arches, high-stained windows. A shaft of light halos the earth around your feet. You fall through the taste of nut and worm, mulch, leaf rot, incoming weather. What's born on air, picking up the spectrum of insect broadcast, everything sharpens. Constellations of pollen motes. You zoom to the focus of one tiny brain buzz in the billions, magnetic hair or sat-nav shell conductivity. Banded by ions, turn to the radio of sun and dark. The world turns on the pinpoint of a gnat. The previous book I did for Broken Sleep Reverb was a sort of verse biography of Rambo from the time of Season in Hell to his death as a after he'd been a gun robber in East Africa, and his death after amputation of a leg. And this is a fairly straight version of his most famous poem, Voyelles, Vowels, followed by another one, which is a kind of impromptu on it, I suppose. So Rambo, vowels. A, black. E, white. I, red. U, green. O, blue. Vowels. Someday I'll explain your occult origins. A, black corsets of glittering flies, diamond skins buzzing above the cruel stench of voided bowels, gulfs of shadow. E, white outs of steam, canvas tents, sharp glacier spears, white kings, iceberg tips. I, purples, spat blood, the twist of pretty lips, gashed in anger or drunkenly penitent. You cycles the green seas which never cease, the sleeping beast spread paws, the wrinkled peace on the shaman's brow, the spectral song which never dies, and oh, the supreme trumpet full of strange harmonies, silences crossed by angels warping the world's eddies. Oh, Omega, the ultraviolet of God's eyes. And the version's called Lascaux, and it's really just about those cave paintings. And I suppose as we've developed, we think that we all see the same colors, but in fact we don't. There's a reason why Homer talks of the wine dark sea, and in Homeric Greek there isn't a word that distinguishes between blue and red. Not quite. So maybe we've developed the ability to think more in color, or maybe we've lost some other kind of form of synesthesia. Anyway, Lascaux. Fireberry budded early on our tribe's tongue, sparked flint, cave cool too. Oh, listen to it, sound echoing between our ears, our minds. We ground, learned to beer, gurgle our powdered flowers, sang. Later, in the long night's flicker, spat red through fingers, added our children to the forest of hands. We learn by spilling life from the throat of things to keep them running forever across our stony, what was it, mind? Or is it all just our green ground? Stab, dribble, spit, everything gives its drip or spark, now sharpen, split, and nap. So here is yellow, see there is blue, we do sunflower, woad, up there everything comes together in indigo light. Down here, daub walls. One day we'll set it all down right. These things we keep apart, else we end in mud. And I'll finish with a Rimbaud, with two Rimbaud poems put together. It's called Looking Back Down the Road. And the first one's after his Ma Bohème, and I suppose my bohemia, my kind of gap year almost. And the other one's on Cabaret Vert, which is the name of a bar he goes into when he's trumping ground. So the first one, called Taking Off. Those days I'd split without a second's thought, hit the road, just take off. At 17, I'd trump for miles, hitch a ride, no place special, leather jacket just like a scarred second hide, signposts for sonnets, truckers, long load, tales for odes, service stations, greasy spoons, thumbing cars, wind finding new holes in the knees and arse in my strides, blacktop humming rubber, autobahn, peace, strada, crushed out dead in graveyards, dossing under skidding stars, sat at the roadside under creaking trees, the huge race of clouds, September nights, dew sparkling my face, swigging lager from a stolen can, clean, cold, sharp, conjuring visions from shadows, hidden in secret places. I twist my feet up close to my heart, pluck the laces of my wounded shoes, entire body turned to canned music, harp. This is not harp, this is staropromin, and I don't think Rimbaud ever had a staropromin, but I couldn't find a rhyme for it actually, so I stuck with harp. At the Green Cafe, 3 p.m. A full week on back roads, dusty mountain tracks, old Chinese canvas shoes were shugged out shreds. I hobbled into this one camel town back of beyond, saw the green sign, smelled fresh baked bread. Splashed face at the pipe, dragged fingers through hair. Inside, this girl looked up, great tits, cracked me a smile, flicked a rag across the green old cloth, dusted off a chair. I stretched out my legs, took in the shiny painted tiles. She looked good around the eyes, not shy at any rate, fetched slabs of butter, bread, thick folds of home smoked ham on a brightly coloured plate, pink and white, delicious, garlicky. For something cold, she foamed up this huge mug, getting too late for the border, a quirky ray of sun turning beer to gold. Thank you.